I'm Ty Fickencher from South Central Nebraska, south of Kearney.
Ben Peterson, North Central Iowa near Lake Mills.
And I started my business here about 4 years ago in July of 2014, and the following year really spent a lot of time trying to figure out how we can be more efficient with fertilizer applications. Had many years of experience with dry fertilizer broadcast applications and knew there's a better way, so we started looking at strip-till applications and how we could go about getting into that business. And actually one of our customers at the same time was looking at switching from liquid strip-till to dry strip-till. And so we had the conversation with them and actually worked out a deal with them to get started doing strip-till applications using dry fertilizer. We did that for about a year and a half, and then got hooked up with Soil Warrior, with ETS and Soil Warrior, and started looking at how we could modify those applications and maybe make fewer passes and more applications. So we started looking at adding the cover crop component. So for the since the spring of 2017, we've been doing cover crop with the strip-till application, and just looking at how we can kind of keep pushing the envelope to make strip-till a more efficient, more viable solution for our customers. Yeah, so just talking to customers and kind of breaking the mindset or the tradition of we have to broadcast fertilizer, we have to do this application and that application. How we can take and reduce the number of passes across the field, be more efficient with those applications, and in the end possibly use less product, be more efficient with the application, or try different approaches to what the traditional approach has been to really help improve crop production.
Yeah, it was 2011. The fall of 2011 was the first time we put strips in, and leading up to that, I'd studied what we were doing, and I was never quite satisfied with what was conventional to us back then. Field cultivator in the spring, kind of a disc ripper type tool in the fall. I didn't feel like our seed bed was where it needed to be. Too many density layer changes, too much soil erosion. And broadcast fertilizer was something I wasn't 100% sold on. So the natural attraction to strip-till was getting rid of all those things, improving on a seed bed, fertilizer efficiency and placement. It was definitely a leap of faith. My dad was definitely hesitant, just did not fit with what he had normally been doing. But yet, all the research I did, and it was undeniable to me that it was something I needed to investigate further. Went ahead and bought a Soil Warrior myself, and it's been the best financial decision on my farm I've made to date. And I guess we continue to evolve with fertility, how we're doing that. We're starting to reduce rates without seeing a yield detriment, without seeing soil test levels decline, and just been having a lot of success. Well, it was right away in 2012. It was our first crop year in strip-till, and that was a very dry year. And just by not disturbing the whole area of the field, we were able to conserve some moisture. And we didn't have any side-by-sides, but it was evident. Not only did we not lose bushels, there were farms that were not of the same quality of some of the farms where we had conventional tillage in place that were out yielding those farms. Where we had the strip-till was better, was what I'm trying to say, because of moisture conservation. Even though we hadn't seen our soil health turn, obviously that takes the increments have been getting greater at the rate at which our soil health improves. Water infiltration, resistance to compaction, biology, including earthworms, it becomes exponential the further we get into it. It's fun to watch.
Well, it's just kind of like Ben was talking about. We're looking at fertilizer savings. Customers switching from a liquid program to a dry program, and that switch is more than enough to offset what we charge for the application rate. along with the soil health, in our area we had quite a few customers. They went from conventional till to no till, and now we're going back to some sort of tillage, and strip till is what we're going back to. So we're seeing a very rapid adoption in the amount of strip till in our part of the world, due in large part to the fertilizer savings and better placement of the fertilizer, instead of having the fields in the spring foaming at the end when we get runoff.
Talk to people that have done it. Realize that it's a change in management for sure, but there are very sound agronomic reasons for going away from broad area tillage. Very sound conservation reasons, and we're not reinventing the wheel. We're just doing it, I think, in a more efficient way. We're tilling only where we need it. And in the case of a soil warrior, I think we're doing it better, being 100% vertical, no smear layers, no density changes. It just doesn't seem, it's not a stretch of the imagination to understand that it does work, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, along with what Ben said, is get input from other people. I mean, there's numerous companies out there that offer strip till options, and we've tried another brand before we went to the Soil Warrior. There's, like I said, numerous different brands out there. They all might have the equipment, but it doesn't mean that it's all the right equipment. And just making sure it's going to fit what your operation is, what your operation needs to do strip till adequately.